Right, hello. I am going to be following in Ubernero's footsteps and re-greasing a rail. So this is for a voron 3D printer, but it applies to anything that uses rails. These are MG9N rails. That's the kind you need. This is black anodized, which is nice. So I have one that I've taken apart earlier. So I had to snip off some cable ties. They're on each end, and then take the part off. Now I've been soaking this in isopropylene alcohol for a bit over 40 minutes, which is more than enough. So before I started this out, you can probably see here that there's these really shiny little bearings, and they're going to be a nightmare. You don't want them to fall down because then you're in a lot of trouble. So what I've done is I've put down some towels, some more towels, and even some more towels, and a little bowl that I'm going to put the bearings in later on. First step though is that I'm going to get the bearing out. We'll have a quick look at it. So let's do that. This is harder than I thought because this is definitely not the optimal way to soak these. Normally you would have like a wider bowl so you could get in there with your hand. Well, I'll cheat and I'll use two, so one to grab each side. Or not. This is super tricky. So I may have to tilt this up a bit. Get some metal everywhere, and there we go. And there is our bearing. Put that there. Put it on here. So, what we have to do is, now that's soaked out there. So, isopropylene alcohol, 99% is what I use for that. That 250ml bottle, I use about that to soak one. So, you go through it pretty quickly. The other thing I'll get through soon is this. So what I need to do is take off these red bits. See them here? So I'm going to use a little screwdriver. And this is like a dust holder. Like stops the dust from getting into it. It is important that once you've soaked these to degrease them, that's the goal of it, that you re-grease them straight away. Otherwise they start to rust. You do not want that to happen. That there. Now I'll do the same for the other side. And there's actually not much holding these on. A couple of turns and you're pretty much good to go. Oh, I said myself wrong here. It just looks like it's good to go. You might hear the heater in the background, it's just kicked in. So I've put them in place. So the next bit is these little runway bits. So I need to take these off. Now this is where it gets scary because all the this is the, I think they call it the raceway or runway clip. So you need to take that off. Now inside the Ubernero's video, what he did was he used a X-Acto knife to take this first out. So let's try that as well too. So try and do this bit safe. Yeah, I can see how it works. Okay. Hop in. You can do it. Really? I wonder if you can do it with the clip. Isn't that cool? Just admiring how amazing that stuff all looks. Okay, so I'm going to rewatch the video here and see how he done it.
For this, pop the hook off one side.
So he said you did pop the hook off one side with the X-Acto knife. But how do you get access to it? Let's find out. Oh yeah, so it's sort of a rubbery kind of material. Shouldn't be too hard. This is my first time doing this, by the way. Okay. So in a way, this is like a sacrificial one to make sure I get it right. Oh, I failed a click there. That's good. Yep. Excellent. Do that again. Very well designed, all this thing. I'm being overly cautious that I don't A, cut myself, or B, use too much force and have the balls fly everywhere. That's like my ultimate fear. Because even though Uber recommended that you buy more, I did not do that. More ball bearings, that is. So it's kind of rubbery. Right, let's try again. Feels like the goal is to get this top bit out, and the rest should follow. It's clearly not what's happening there, right? Wow, it's really well done. Oh, yes, might take a bit. I'm going to focus on doing that. Oh yeah, that works. Slowly push it off. Oh, the first culprit. So I'm going to put that in a bowl. You can see I've lost a few already here. Wow, look at that. Isn't that amazing? And another one there. Oh, look at him. Way too scary. So that's one clip off. Now I'm going to empty that into the bowl before I go any further. So have a look here. See all these bits that have fallen off straight away. So here we go. There, that's them. A few more there. Okay. So double absolutely check in there. So I'm going to put the retainer clip here and the other one here. Oh, so I've got to get the other one out. So again, with this stuff, just take your time. If you haven't done this stuff before, like me, yeah, block yourself a bit more time to do it, because I know just undoing this clip takes a bit, but the real time sink is when you go to the point of actually putting the balls back in. Just slowly taking this clip out. Whoa, look at him go! Jeez, that's so scary, isn't it? So I know the ball went over there. I'm going to pick that up. Isn't that scary? Okay. Okay. And here. A few more. So if you're watching this video and freaking out about all these balls falling out, I recommend that you, when you're ordering your MG9 rails, now I got mine from Robotdigg, but anywhere else it's probably the same, they have the option to buy a bunch of extra balls. I recommend you do that, because what happens, and what Uber did in his video, was to, let me just take that bit out. There we go. Was to, to have this bowl with lots of spares in there. Okay, put that in. That clip there. So now I have a rail to clean. So I'm going to quickly go through the video here, what he did. So he's using some cleaner, which is this stuff. So citrus juice is one way to clean these bits. If you have a really fine Q-tip, which it looks like I don't, you could wipe away in there, but I don't have that ability, so I have to pretty much wipe it in there. Oh, so I'll give it a quick clean too, by the way. Okay, cool. And I'm going to get a bit more towel to rub it with. Cool. So if you're looking inside here, see these large circles here? You might see it or not, depending on the view of the camera. That's the part where I'm going to be putting the white lithium grease, which is this stuff. So I'll get to that in a moment. Alright, so cleaning this part here. Citrus juice, sprayed a couple of times. Okay. Let that do its thing for a sec. Citrus juice itself is pretty harmless. And it smells nice, which is good. So you'll fiddle around with this. I'm going to do it again for the other side. Because ideally you want this bit to be super smooth. There we go. Again, I'll clean that. Once this is done, I will use some isopropylene alcohol to clean it down again. So I've got a nice clean rail, which is good. So spray that. So I'll see what he did here. He did use the Q-tip. Okay, so I did use Q-tip just to clean the outside edges of it. So you can see this doesn't reach all the way in it, so it's not too bad. Well, I'm pretty confident with that. So be able to rub this through. You see that's got an indent there. Nice soft Q-tip. In Uber Nero's video, he recommended that you use a pipe cleaner, which probably would be pretty awesome too. So that is shiny clean, which is great. Now, to get rid of any debris and weird stuff on it, I'm going to give it a light spray of isopropylene. Here we go. And over there too. Let that fall down. It's good. Give that a sec to dry. Now see if he wiped it down. Looks like he leaves it. Oh no, he dries it. Gonna do what he does.
And then what I do is, for grease, the easiest way I found is to put your grease actually down these two raceways.
So he's talking about those little circle holes up here. That's what he calls the raceways. So I'm going to get my isopropylene, sorry, not my isopropylene, try and put that up so it dries a bit quicker. This bit. So when you get these, the main thing that you want to get is the applicator, because by default, when it's got this tube, it's huge and is totally useless too. So the applicator is important. If you don't have an applicator, which is again those little nozzle things, what you do instead, just push this in, is, oh, here we go, that's good. Yep, got the isopropylene there, the applicator, so I'll put this on. Now again, if you haven't used these before, what the typical behaviour of them is that they don't work, and then they squirt heaps. So let's give this a test. Probably on a bit of paper. So you can see the coming through. Now just get ready for primed and get used to how much force you need to push it through. So you can see here, using not much force, now it's starting to come through. I could honestly probably have this hole be a little bit thicker, but it's not what I'm doing. So now, what Ubanero does is he gets the applicator and pushes it through here so it goes until it comes out on the other side. It's going to make double sure that I've cleared enough isopropylene alcohol out of this. Okay. Alright, so put the applicator on. I can see why it's important to have that hole be small enough. So just check we're good to go. So again, like getting used to the amount of pressure you need to push on this so you know whether it's working or not is important, because otherwise you're going to end up with a bunch of goo shooting through, which is not what you want. So I could look on the other side to see how far I've gone through. But I'm just going to trust that it does the thing. Oh, keep going. Got a bit on me. Now I've read up on white lithium grease, and although it's not something you should be spending heaps of time with, it's also not a terribly bad thing. Not good, but reading that I've decided that I'm not going to wear gloves. That's taken a lot of pressure, so I'm going to try this holding it with my other hand. Okay. So this should go through the other side of the raceway once you've got enough lithium grease in there. That's happening now. So this tube here is 85 mils, which is honestly so much that you probably will never run through that in a long time. So I'm getting a little bit worried that I haven't pushed enough through there. So I'm just going to check this briefly in the light. It's getting there. Let's go all the way through. So I'm going to wipe that off. Start again so I've got a better view of where I'm lacing this. Wipe that off. There we go. You can see the raceway again. Line it up. Start pushing through again. Yes, I've got to be closer now. Alright, I'm going to push through the other side. Because I know that this is an excessive amount to be putting through it. Alright, let's go. There we go. I can see that's working now because that started pushing through there. Excellent. Cool. So I'll do that to the other side too. So I'm pushing with quite a bit of force now. Oh, I made it nearly all the way through. I just didn't trust myself enough. Bummer. Okay. So push for a little bit longer. You can see the white bit there coming through. There we go. See? So that whole area now is ready to go. So I'm going to check with Ubanero's instructions, but what he does is he puts these bits back on and then starts loading the bearings through. Go YouTube, don't fail me. Push through. he puts these bits back on, which is fine. Let's go do that now. So that's this clip. Now for the other side. This clip. Brush that off. Excellent. Okay, so we've got fully lubed up.
So you put one side on, grab it with the tweezers, kind of just get it started, and then pinch it on, and then you might just have to pull the rest. There we go.
Okay, so it's clipped on, which is good.
These only go on one way.
Okay, so now it's time to put these bits back on. So he recommends that you can put the first part on by hand, and then the next part you will have to use these tweezers because it gives you a bit more leverage. Makes sense. So I'm putting this on the wrong side. I'm getting too eager. Turn this around. Yep. Okay, so first side on. Check. Now I'm going to use the tweezers to hold this and put the other bit on. Being very careful while I hold these, and I'm not sure why honestly, because the balls aren't in there at the moment. This bit fell out on this side. Let's hold it in. Come on, you can stay in. I'm sure as a viewer this is probably frustrating to watch, but compared to watching the pros do it, where they like fly through it in 5 seconds, I'm like, wow, that looks easy, and then you realise, no, it's a little bit trickier than you thought. So allow yourself plenty of time to do this bit. Okay, so I'm going to hold that in place now so that doesn't fall out again. I'm going to use my tweezers to push it up for the other side. That's much easier. Careful not to bend it too much. Put a little part on. There we go. Push a little bit further. Oh, you could do it. Okay. There we go. Wow, that wasn't too bad. Okay, that's good. Does he do both? So I've been careful not to bend them as well. So he has put them on for both. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do the other side now. So again, now that I'm aware of what happened earlier, so I'm going to place the first part in. It's the wrong way. There we go. Finger hold it. And then use my tweezers to clip it in. Much easier. Again, if you ever practice one of these, I recommend you do it. Although rails aren't cheap, obviously. So that's been pushed in. That is clearly in on both sides. I'll just double check. Press fit in. Yep, excellent. That's not coming off any time soon. Great. So now we have the rail here. Now, the next part he does, it looks like he installs the red bits, clips on the end. Okay, so let's do that now. This bit's reasonably easy, so all I'm going to do is screw those back on. Now, this is more of a dust cover. I'm not going to futz around too much here, just put them on. Okay. Screw this bit in too. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so it's one side, let's do the other bit. So I'm not sure what the advice is in regards to over packing with the grease, but it's not too bad because if there is too much, it is going to get pushed out when I install the balls in the next step. Which I am okay with. Okay, let's put this in place. There we go. And so they're both screwed in. Wow, alright. So this bit took 3 minutes in Uber Nero's video. I don't know how far I'm in on this, but I'm probably at least, I'm 20 minutes in, I think. So, next part is the balls, which I think is you load them in one by one. So let's see if that's what he did.
And they hold everything together.
Yep.
It's a lot easier when you're not wearing gloves.
It is a lot easier when you're not wearing gloves.
You need to start by reinstalling, snapping underneath the wire there that holds them in, and then you're going to want to feed it.
So what he does is he grabs them one by one and loads them in via the middle of I have dropped my first ball. I'm going to pause this and try and track it down. Okay, so I dropped a ball and that sucks because I do not have a spare. Although technically I do have a spare, like this entire rail is spare bits, but I still do need to grease it so I can make sure that it doesn't rust itself later on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start putting these parts in. So I put one bit in already. Basically, you grab the ball, you pray that you don't drop it because then you're in a world of hurt, and then you place it in. So I'm going to try that again now. So this bit is nicer because you get more leverage on there versus this. It's at an angle, so you don't. It's a little bit easy. See, it's easier to drop. That's why we go for that. So I'm going to do this now for another one. So you don't need much in the way of pressure. Put it in the middle. Push it in. See, it easily pushes in. Let's keep doing that. After I've done a few here, what I'm going to do is start pushing it through the top. Like that. So I'm going to work my way through, and this is basically how I'm greasing them, by pushing them through that rail, that raceway that I talked about earlier, to grease them up. So here we go. It's bidding, 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 and I'm going to keep doing that. So frustrating I dropped one though. So let that be a lesson to you if you're watching this video. Either buy a spare rail, save some spare bearings with it, or just buy a new pack of balls. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to label this bearing, this linear rail, once I've done it, as not suitable, and I'll mark which side I need to put in one extra ball. Probably what I'll do is, is the next time I do this step to a rail, I'll put an extra ball in, grease that up. Actually, that's exactly what I'll do. So I'll the first ball that I put in and push it through, that'll be adequately greased up. So I'll take that out and put that in this one, and then it'll be happy days. So I'll start pushing these through. Takes a little bit of pressure, so be mindful of that. I can see that's why they start sort of pushing in one by one. Okay. So I've got 2 balls here that I want to make sure I don't lose. There's one. There's the other. Push that in. So you can see already that these are starting to push through. Excellent. Any excess grease we're going to wash off later on. So again, you've got a bit more slack to push the ball in the middle, so that's why we do it there. Push in, push in. Oh God. There we go. Oh, this is so stressful. 1, 2, 3. Still a few more. 5, 6. Nero said in his video that some people count how many balls they push through, but it's way too easy to lose count of that, and that's why he doesn't do it. I feel like I'd be one of those people. I feel like the best way is to push down on it. So see how, I'll do this again, see if it works right. So push down on it like that. So there's less tension for it to bounce back on you. Yeah, it seems a bit better. Okay. Down. Two, 3, 4. Okay. Push it through. It's much easier to push these through if you do it one by one too. And don't rush yourself. Well, okay. Whoop. Wow, they fly off so easily, don't they? Jesus. Just going to check here.
grease over, wipe off the excess. And that's the one side. And then you do it again on the other side. Okay, so that is all the bearings in the carriage now, all looped up. Okay, we'll grab our rail. Now for cleaning the rail, it's a lot simpler than the carriage. Simply wipe down with a degreaser, clean off any residue, ensure that the raceway on both sides that the ball bearings run in is free of shmoo. Run some Kleenex in there, use something to kind of feed it down. You need to ensure that that is perfectly clean. Then finish it off with isopropyl alcohol to remove any residue. Now feeding it back on, you need to ensure that everything is lined up perfectly, otherwise you're going to pop balls out. As you can see, that happens there. So what you can simply do is simply make a gap for them and push them back in. And continue feeding. And it's on. Run it a few times, make sure it's nice and smooth, not binding anywhere. Now I use white lithium grease, it's kind of heavy, so while it does move, sometimes it doesn't move perfectly with gravity, but a slight push will push it, and that's good enough for our application. Now as soon as I install the carriage back on, I immediately take some zip ties. And I zip tie it. Put some zip ties right through the screw holes on each end. Because the last thing you want to do is pick up your rails, have the carriage fall, and everything explode. And you're going to be chasing 2mm balls all over the floor for hours. And there we go. That is one MGN9 cleaned and re-lubed. Enjoy.
Okay.
Side into raceway there. Uneven. Oh. Bearings coming out the other side. Simply fill up the remainder. Now it's always easier. And you'll know it's filled when you'll have just enough gap that you think you can put one more bearing in, but you cannot. If you want to keep count of them, kind of smudge the grease over, wipe off the excess.
Smudge the grease. Okay, so I've done one here. Now you can see here I've pushed it through. Now what I've learned is that you'll feel like you can put one more in, but you actually can't, because it'll pop out as soon as you start moving the bearings. So that's a thing. So I'm going to start doing this part now. Push it down. It's in. And I'll keep going with the rest of it. Just check my phone for a moment. Yep, all good. So let's push in the rest of the bearings. See how faster we can go. So I'm aware that I'm going to be one short here because I'm a noob and stuffed up. But I'm going to be okay with this. So I pushed in a few, now I'm going to start pushing them in one by one. See, it's very easy at the start, especially if you do it one by one like that. Alright, let's keep going. Man, this is scary. Push that through. Alright, so my learning from this is that it's best to, when you push the ball on, do it horizontally like this, because you've got more surface area of your toys pushing on it, so there's less chance for it to fall back. And that I haven't actually lost one, I think I've lost more than one ball, which is frustrating, but no biggie, because it just means that I won't be able to use this one, but with the spare rails that I've got over there, that I'll build it from that. So I'm going to wipe this with a finger and put it back on the rail for the moment. So before I put it back on the rail, I'll just double check what if there's any balls hanging around. No, there is not. It's good. Now I've got a magnet there, that's what I tried to use to find the other balls. It did not work because the thing is way too small. Again, another learning for me. So, no balls? Okay. So there's about 2 or 3 that I've lost during this process. So that was interesting. So now, the next step is to double checking here. Put all the balls on. So we've got to clean the actual rail itself. So what they recommend is get rid of any grease. So spray some citrus juice. That run all the way through. There we go. Good. And do the same for the other side. So they still call this bit the raceway. Just FYI. So citrus juice has flowed through there. Let's see if he wipes it down. Alright, so he does wipe it down with a cleaning cloth, so we'll do that as well. There we go. Excellent. And do it for the other side. Now the main reason for this, I'm assuming, is because when they send this off from the Robotdigg, is it's full of like packing grease and stuff. So that's good now. Now get rid of any residue with a bit of isopropylene. That runs through. A little bit more. Make sure that's doing its thing. Yep, it's gone through. Give that a moment. Now do the same on this side. Oh, finally sprays after all that. There we go. So I will let that dry. Give it a bit of a shake.
You need to ensure that is perfectly clean, and finish it off with isopropyl alcohol to remove any residue. Now, feeding it back on.
So I've watched this bit a few times. So for actually putting the rail back on, again you have to be super careful because the balls come out again. So this is another bit that could stuff up potentially for me. So twist that around. Yeah, a bit of an air clean. Move it around here. Yep. Okay. because that's isopropylene, it will dry up super quick, especially if I've used such small quantities that I have. So now we are going to make sure, now I'm aware that I do not have all the balls needed for this rail, but you will put this on. Oh yep, so everything's installed and good to go. I'm going to line this up, start putting this on. So there's only one way this goes on, by the way. The thinner side goes on the bottom, and you'll see that with the alignment here. There we go. Oh, geez, scares you how easily it lined up. So you got to make sure it's lined up. Now watch these balls move as I push it up here. Got to very gently do it, slowly. Okay. Now I'm lucky, and that has worked first time, so that's great. So I'm going to wipe this across here to grease this rail. There's no binding, which is good. Now it probably doesn't sound ideal because what I've done wrong is I didn't have all the balls needed for it. So I'm going to keep doing this a little bit more. This is helping grease up the linear rail part. See, there's a bit of grease applied on it now from that, and that's great. Okay, so with that, we are good to go. So lithium grease is a little bit heavy, so gravity won't always let it fall down, which is fine, but gives you the right amount of give that if you push, it will do the thing. So the next step they recommend, I'm just going to clean my hands off here, is clean that off. Make sure you put some cable ties on each end here, because the first thing that can easily happen now is that because this is on here, that could slide out and you would be in my position where you need to track down some of those balls, which would suck. So don't do that, and we're good to go. So that bit's on, and this bit is about to attach. It's only 2mm sort of wire will work fine here. This is really rare 1.5mm, which is does the job, I guess, but it's useless for anything else, so I wouldn't recommend bothering with it. Okay, so that's how you regrease a linear rail. Notes: don't drop balls. It's almost impossible to not drop some. You can see here I've dropped probably 2 or 3. One on yours, the other 2 I did not. So if you can, buy an extra set of balls, if you can, just for ease of use. So you can just chuck them in the bowl and it's no biggie then. And you can also inspect if some of the balls aren't good and pick the best of the crop. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully the video is pretty useful for you. So what I use to remove the grease is dissolve it. So it's citrus juice, basically. So that will, it's also used to remove the adhesive off a PEI bed. So that's why I have that. So remove the grease with this. So put in a little bath of that, soak it for 20 to 40 minutes at least in isopropylene alcohol, sorry. So that's to do that, clean that. I'm getting trapped in my own words there. So isopropylene alcohol is to get rid of the old grease, and this is to get rid of any residue and that kind of stuff that you might have on there. So, and the last bit that you have is white lithium grease. MG Chemicals is where I got this from in Australia, and that's fairly heavy but very effective. I got that from Core Electronics, and it come with the applicator, which I was going to have to track down. So I'm glad that that had that there, and that's about it. So again, thank you for watching.